Freer Future Festival.
My only rant.
Debates between online, what seems to be like a bunch of online internet streamers, mostly. It was basically, yeah, like an online, like, liberal streamer politics con with like various varieties of liberalism on display. I think this really, like I've said for a long time, I think I made my main channel video back in April saying that online streaming is little more than entertainment. You know, it's people like consuming politics as sort of for entertainment, and there's nothing wrong with that by itself, right? Where it becomes a bit of a problem is when people consider it as being more than that. Now, I'm not making a judgment on whether anyone involved in this considers it to be more than that or whatever, you know. But I just think it's very funny that there is like my point is being proven with flying colors here, because people had like a fucking debate con based, like an event where the main draw was your favorite internet personality having a live debate with your other favorite internet personality. Well, I'm not sure why Bastiat was there, because honestly, he's no one. He gets like 100 viewers on Twitch. Why would he get invited to anything? I think it's just because he's a neoliberal. You know, at least the other three actually have a decently sized following and get like more than 500 viewers. Like, what's he doing there, honestly? He gets less viewers than me. He's no one. But yeah, like analyzing this from the perspective that I've had for a while now, where, you know, online political streams, especially political content in general, slightly less so, but still is essentially just entertainment. And in many cases, it's people watching it far more because they feel some sort of attachment or like appreciation for the person who is creating it, than because they actually have anything remotely interesting or insightful to say. And that's what this is, right? Got your favorite internet personalities live on stage. To go there live, you had to like pay for a ticket. Yeah, right. You know, go to the fucking Freer Future Festival, $49 for an adult. Or you can even get the $2,500 VIP experience ticket. It's like a fucking it's like a boxing event, man. It's like a boxing event, except without the pay-per-view aspect yet. Boxing or MMA for fucking pathetic nerds. Like, now this is like just such a great encapsulation of what politics streaming actually is. These people aren't doing activism. They're not doing anything like that. They're just entertaining you. In a lot of cases, they're making their audience feel like they're doing more. In some cases, they're not. And the funniest thing about it, right, is like they're headlining a literal libertarian conference, right? One or two steps removed from fascism. And like, you know, Vorsh, Dylan Burns, Destiny, no problem. You know, for Bastiat, it's not surprising at all, because he's an oil company lawyer who is actively aiding and abetting climate genocide. But for the other three, it's like this is like where you choose to go. Like, you know, this is like an event that whose money you're accepting to go on stage and essentially be by far the biggest reason that anyone would attend. Because without them, this event would have been nothing. It would have been like a small sort of TP USA sort of nerd convention. But because they were there, you know, tons of their fans decided to go and, you know, see their parasocial daddies live, having a, you know, doing what they do on stream, like, you know, calling anyone further to the left of them a Nazi live. Well, there's no one further to the left of them there, luckily, so I'm sure no one was called a Nazi, and everything was very respectful. Because, you know, you can definitely respect someone like Bastiat, who is personally invested in climate genocide, more than you can someone who doesn't say that China is like a yellow peril evil that absolutely must be destroyed by the USA as soon as possible. So I think it's very interesting. Like, this is peak consumption, you know. The means of consuming your favorite streamer have expanded from merely sending them money on stream to now going to see them in like a wildly successful live event, which was for some reason run by fucking libertarians, because I guess these people just want to like legitimize like essentially be the only reason that anyone cares about this libertarian organization and their events. I guess they're okay with that. Very interesting sort of thing. Also very sad and pathetic. I'm not gonna mince words. It's very sad and pathetic. It's being sold like a wrestling event. What do they even talk about? Just talking about like generic sort of generic things that most of them agree on. Cuba and COVID. Let's see. It's going to be like a hug box of everyone saying Cuba is bad. By the way, the quality of this is awful.
Reports. Now, I've been involved.
The audio quality is also awful. Oh, like the leader of the event is like a fucking Gusano. He has a Cuba shirt. You can already tell he's a Miami Cuban.
In the Cuban Liberty Movement for decades.
The Cuban Liberty Movement.
And I know in general what the Cuban exile community is looking for, and what the community in Cuba who was just protesting in July was protesting for. And that's a brutal communist dictatorship over the last 62 years that uses their people as a farm so that...
See, he knows what the people in Cuba want.
they can have largesse. Now, at that point, it's devolved into state capitalism. You're not allowed to call it communism. But the point is, when I was watching CNN this summer, they told us that the protests in Cuba were because they didn't have vaccines.
CNN said that? CNN didn't support the protests? Amazing.
And that is not what the protests were about.
I mean, the protests were literally a result of COVID. Not having vaccines, definitely a factor. The inability of the government to respond to COVID. You know, is that possibly related to the US embargo? I mean, I'm not gonna, this is the generic NPC sort of right-wing US talking points that I'm not going to engage with. I want to see how like purported nuanced debate figures respond to this. And whoever the fuck this guy is, I don't know why he's on the stage. No one has any clue who he is. No one's there to see this white shirt guy. Why is he even there, honestly? Don't kid yourselves, libertarians. No one cares about you. The only reason that anyone is watching this is because like there's more generic liberal centrists there who people actually want to see.
At all, in any sense. So when you see things like that, and they're in Kabul, and they say they're mostly chanting death to America, but they seem very friendly, or when they go to a burning city and
Afghans don't like America? Well, I wonder why that might be.
Say that it's a mostly peaceful protest, you start to wonder, where do I find news that I can rely on? So you'll start to wonder, why don't people believe that COVID is real? Why don't people believe in vaccines? So
what the fuck does it have to do with anything?
Let's change the subject to COVID, and what do you think should be done right now with COVID? And do you think that the current, like, the solutions...
Is this guy like supposed to be like a neutral debate moderator or something? Or is it just like a random audience member giving a question? Because could you possibly frame a question in a more loaded way than that? Like he's just injecting himself into the discussion.
That were offered in the beginning were acceptable across the board, or do you have differences?
Right. A quick thing that I'd like to hit on first of all, though, I worry about this. Like, how do we discern between fake and real news? Because I think it's really rather easy. When it came to the protests in Cuba, a lot of that was the Cuban government's poor handling of the coronavirus pandemic, their inability to quickly respond to the growing need for, among other things, vaccines. With Kabul, if you take a look at polling across many countries in the Middle East, the population is not actually that antagonistic to the United States. Their governments tend to be, and we focus on the protests where they're shouting death to America. I'm sure if you look in America,
so Bush is now going to say that the Middle East loves the USA. Middle Easterners need to be invaded. What the fuck is this?
You can find protests of people shouting death to America. It's a sentiment that is held in places. But we need to look past the narrative that's being driven, try to draw out a greater truth based on what we think is most or least harmful. There will always be misinformation, but what worsens the world to the greatest extent? Now, speaking to COVID and misinformation, which worsens the world considerably, I believe this is fully consistent with any libertarian principle, by the way, was very much in favor of not only what we had now, but lockdowns early on. See, it turns out that in the states that implemented lockdowns after they were taken away, the businesses continued to flag and stagnate. Why? Because people still aren't shopping because of COVID. COVID was the problem. Lockdowns were just a way of shoring up the edge cases of people getting sick in their workplaces, which happened, and I would take the latter anytime. And the faster we get over the pandemic, the faster people start shopping again. So really, it's in all of our best interests.
Now, I know, Professor...
Who's having a debate here? Is the moderator fucking debating? Why is the moderator debating? What's going on here? Why is the fucking moderator participating in the debate?
Kaplan does not agree, and I would like to hear your thoughts on that.
And like, as I said, you can see from the reaction of the audience that most people here aren't even libertarians. They're like fans of the streamers, who are here to see their streamers epically own each other. And yeah, Cuba developed its own fucking vaccine while under a US embargo, but who cares? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I've actually written several pieces on the cost-benefit analysis of COVID versus COVID prevention. And not only is the control of COVID not infinitely more important than the other stuff, it's almost the other way around. So by my calculations, which I presented them to a wide variety of audiences, and I just said, like, I mean, I do not have time to go through the numbers, but in the audience, these are the key variables. Tell me how you want to change the variable.
Who's this guy supposed to be? Like, he's so insignificant that he doesn't even get a mention in Vorsh's description. No one cares about him.
According to my estimate, in order to change the answer. And really, even on very conservative estimates, the total cost of all the COVID prevention is about 15 times the value of the total life saved.
Okay, this is incredibly dumb. Wow. This is what people paid $50 to see. They paid for the $2,500 fucking gold ticket to see. This isn't even a debate. This is just fucking... Hey, people who are various different strains of liberal. What's your opinion on this thing? What's your opinion on this incredibly loaded question that I asked you?
Not much
the
better.
The existence of this event, like, well, at least, you know, the existence of the event probably would have happened anyway. But the fact that like it was headlined by like a bunch of liberal internet personalities who know nothing about anything, and whose entire existence is based around them posturing that they're some sort of epic political guru, in order to entertain an audience of people who legitimately believe more often than not that they are some sort of epic political guru. and like it's hosted at a Libertarian festival. Like that is so fucking weird. The world that we live in is so fucking weird. That this is happening is so fucking weird. Everything about this is incredibly weird. You know, if anyone tries to tell you that political streaming and such is serious, just point them to the fucking Freer Future Fest, man. You know, if this is more than just like, politics as entertainment, something that people watch because they want to see like their favorite streamer epically own their opponents by calling them Nazis and quoting Wikipedia articles, point them to the fact that this event exists. And there you go. It's like, like a fan con specifically for political fandoms, okay? That's what this is, for at least aesthetically political fandoms. Nothing more, nothing less. There's not anything more to it. It's very weird. It's such a great little encapsulation of the weirdness of the world that we live in today. Not of the world that we live in today, or at least of this little niche of the internet of the world that we live in today.